Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Trade Ideas Live Trading Room recap for Tuesday, March the 8th. My name is Barry Anderson. I'm the moderator of our trading room. This is the address to get into the room. It is a free room. I share my screen all day long, and I'm on the mic between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. If you'd like to take out a subscription to Trade Ideas, this is the link to use. All right, well, actually a few trades today, but really only one to talk about that was super exciting. LEU. Now, and what happened to the chart? Just one second. Sorry about that. You know, the problem with multiple monitors and all, you click on something and it disappears and it hides behind something. But anyway, so LEU. Now, interestingly enough, this did not show up on the options play. However, why we even knew about it was in the pre-market. You notice here's where it closed yesterday at 153. So it was up to 186. It was in this area in the pre-market, and of course I got my pre-market scanner, and this popped up. But I have to admit that we haven't seen a lot of follow-through on these smaller cap stocks, other than of course now this is as I called it in the room a pseudo energy stock. It's not oil related, but it's oil or gas related. But I guess it's I'm going to say uranium. It used to be USU. Somebody pointed out, if you remember USU. But anyway. But I haven't seen a lot of follow through in these, so I wasn't really paying that much attention to it. Though somebody mentioned in the room that they had signed been awarded a $165 million contract. So with that in mind, I did have it on a thumbnail chart, and I was impressed by the fact that it had held. It had held. This was the pre-market high of just about $2, and so you see how it fell a little bit. Here's where it opened, and it fell down to 179. And I thought, okay, here we go again. Just one of these ones that just is going to small cap that's just going to fizzle, but it didn't. And so when it broke two, it really caught my attention. So I got into the trade a little bit late. Watch this. Got in around 229, right around here. Right around here. And this turned out to be, basically, this was all I had to do today. I got out some at 240 just in case, some at 257 right here, around 257, all in this candle, right around there. Some at 302 and some at 270. So the whole thing, I mean, this was just turned out to be a marvelous trade. Now, I actually did get back in to it a couple of times in this area. Modest results, a couple of little losses. I did get back in at 4. I actually thought I might swing this for a little bit, but I did get back out, or I took a loss on this. I didn't have that many shares, because look, I made my day was basically done all here, and I was saying, in the old days I would have just packed it up and gone golfing. But I guess the bottom line is that it pays to watch in the pre-market to see what's happening. I probably would not have followed this at all unless that person had dug up the information. Not that it was probably, I mean, it was just in the press release, I'm sure. But, I'm doing a lot of things in the pre-market, and I, again, for this one, I was sort of biased. I didn't figure that it was going to do anything. But when they did say it, they did sign a $165 million contract. Whether that's over, 100 years, a lot of these things are like that. But the bottom line is this, is that it pays to do your pre-market work, and because you just never know, because this did not show up for me on any other alert, so I would not have seen it. So we had some other trades. Muir was a tough one. The big drop yesterday. This is one that I missed. This was in my options play magic window, and I think the alert was probably around here, and it just went up about $2 from there. So I noticed in the pre-market that we weren't going to have the same follow through, obviously, in oil and gas in that sector that we've had over the last probably 4 or 5 trading sessions. So today was the day, I guess, profit taking, whatever. And so Murphy started to fall. But this was tough right here. All these topping tails, because I'm trying to short this. So bottom line is that I was shorted this at 23.72. Took some out here at 23.52. On the pop back up, I got out, but then I reshorted at 23.47. By this time, it had somewhat settled down. So right in this area here, 23.47. Just put a little marker there, and was able to ride this down. Now, unfortunately, I did not get it all the way down to 22.75. I exited just before it broke up through 23. So it turned out to be a decent little trade, but certainly not smooth. I mean, you see all these topping tails. Remember, we're trying to short. So all these topping tails, especially these ones here, they're just whipping you out. So I found that one, certainly not an easy one to do. Took some losses today. Not big ones. Again, when I have an early trade like LEU, I'm very reluctant to get in anything big later on. I'm certainly not going to squander the profits that I've made. So, but Omer was another tough one. We're trying to go long, and a lot of these bottoming tails, topping tails, just not clean chart patterns. So I was long this one at 1571, I think. Did pop up to 82, and then as it came down, I just got out of it. Is there any other one that was of interest? Voya, in and out of there for a small gain. But what is of interest is, our RBI and GBIs. Now, you need a subscription to get this, sort of what I call the premium subscription. It's a one-time licensing fee to get the RBI, AI, Holly, or limit alerts, the whole shebang. Now, these are starting to produce really, really interesting trades. And, I talk about it a lot in the room. I explain what they mean. Let me show you one that will really probably highlight what these are all about. And I think it was AAL. 1 second. Yes, I just had to find the right time frame. It was on the 5-minute time frame. So this is an RBI 5. So what do I mean by that? This is the red bar. So this is pattern recognition, okay? And so it doesn't necessarily, it's not strategy as such as or defined in the same way as a back-tested strategy and all, but this is pattern recognition. So what it's looking for are at least 3 green candles going up. So the trend is moving up, and then we're looking for this pattern: a green bar, a red bar, and then a green bar. Now, the interesting thing is that in the past, you're going to notice. Let me just bring this up here. Hopefully, you don't lose the. So here it is. You notice we have RBI here, and then we have what's called preview. So before we had this preview, this section here. Let me back that out. So remember what I was saying. Before we had preview, what would happen is the system would recognize the pattern, but what would happen is this candle had to close before we'd actually get the alert right here at 40.61. Now notice that this price is 40.81. It's 20 cents away. That's not really great. You'd rather, now if this candle was very narrow, 40.63, that's not so bad. But what I was finding is that we were getting a lot of situations in which, by the time we actually got the alert, because it had to wait for this candle to close, it might have been too far away. So that was the old one. You can still do that because this gives you the confirmation that you've got this green, red, green pattern. But now with the preview, what happens is you actually get the alert as this green candle is forming once it hits the top of that red candle. So that's why we got the alert at 40.61. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to remain green, though. I mean, that's sort of, as I call it, the double-edged sword, because what could happen, of course, is that you could, this is green right now, but then it could reverse and turn red. And so, that's why or the other way is sort of the confirmation that the pattern is complete. This way, though, I like it because it gives you the option. Right now, you're looking at a chart. You're looking at the market. Maybe also, is the market going up? AAL is obviously in the airline. How's the sector doing, perhaps? But especially, is the market going up? Also, is the market tanking though? So I like this way because this gives you the option. Okay, do I want to take a look at this right now, or do I want to wait a little bit longer? You can wait a little bit longer as it's moving up, and then take it right there. Doesn't mean it's going to keep going. It could completely reverse. But this gives you the option to allow you to pick your entry as opposed to having to wait for it all the way up here to close, and then you might say, well, it's 20 cents away. The other nice thing is that your stop, the way they do it is they put the stop right at the bottom of the candle. Now you don't have to obey that stop. We could have put it right at the bottom of the base of the body, but nonetheless, most of the stops are very, very tight. So that's what I really like about this sort of this alerting system, is that you can get in and you're almost for sure going to know very quickly whether it's worked or not if you obey the stop. And the stops are tight enough that you're not going to get a lot of damage. Now, if you saw, and the other thing I should point out, and what I'd like to actually ask the programmers to do. Right now, the way it works is that this red bar has to be totally enclosed by the previous green candle. Notice this bottoming tail right there. Now, you'll love to see that. Somebody was asking me, well, what's the big deal about bottoming tails? Well, just think about this. What this means is that, first of all, this is, here's the trend up. The sellers tried to drive it down. Now, the longer this tail is, what if it was way down here? And then it closed up here. You'd love that. That means the sellers really tried to drive it down, but the buyers took over again, and then the trend continued. Now, the problem is right now is that, for us to get this alert triggered, this candle has to be totally engulfed by this one. So in other words, a long tail down here, we wouldn't see that. So I'm actually going to ask them to see whether or not we can code something so that if the body is at least engulfed and we have a long tail, then I want to see that also. Okay. So anyway, that's just something that I think will be very powerful. A long bottoming tail, and then the body is engulfed by the tail, by the previous candle. That will be just as good. All right, so that's an explanation of what the RBI and the GBIs are doing. We have them on various time frames, 5, 15, and 30. I think they're going to be very powerful as we're able to add more filters. In other words, maybe we be able to add a filter saying, I want the option volume to be a very large also. Not just as pattern recognition, but also add some more filters. I mean, we do have some filters. You can say what price range you want and the minimum volume and all that, but I would like to have the full range of trade ideas filters and then apply it to this pattern. So again, if you want this, you have to, of course, if you already have trade ideas but you don't have access to this, then you basically have to subscribe to it. It's a one-time license fee. You get the RBI, GBI, you get our limit alerts, you get Holly, who actually produced pretty well today. Not many trades, but look how much we're up. We're up $1.15 and only 4 trades. You get Holly, and you get the RBI and GBI, but you need that one-time license, one-time charge in order to get it. All right, that's it. I'm just trying to see if there's anything more to talk about in terms of watching for anything. I can't think of anything right now. Seeing if there's any other stock that we were watching maybe for, CMRX. Was alerted in Holly, but and one of the things is you probably want to keep watching this one going forward. Take a look at the daily chart, and you'll see why. It had the big collapse way back here, and it really hasn't recovered. I mean, honestly, it has not recovered. So, what I would do, certainly, put a couple of alerts. Probably put an alert there. I mean, if it ever broke out through 10 again, I mean, look out. But there'd have to be a pretty darn good catalyst for it to do that. If it broke maybe even 6 on a shorter time, in a shorter period, it might give us something because there's still a little gap, up until about 786 or so, or the low 7s. From 6, so I mean there is a little gap here, but this would be fabulous. So I've put an alert here. It may never happen. It may trigger a month from now, 2 months from now. Again, it may never may trigger next week. But this would be really, really interesting if it ever got up above 10 again based on this gap. All right, that is it. So again, let me back this off. This is the address to get into our room. Free trading room. Not too many of those on the out there. That actually I share my screen. I'm live on the mic. between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. And again, here's the address if you want to take out a subscription to Trade Ideas. So hope to see you in our trading room tomorrow. Bye-bye.